All right, I don't see anybody in chat, but it could just be Ustream messing with it. The chat's been splitting and messing up lately, I know. I'm just finishing some of the cards that I jelly printed the other day. And I had pulled, while Jean was on, I had pulled some things, just thinking that I'd work on them. I don't want to cover up too much of the jelly print though. I think I'm going to let that one sit and decide what I want to do next to it. I know this one, I'm just going to keep it real simple. Hi, Carol. And for those of you watching the YouTube recording, this is a live stream on Ustream. And I'm talking to people in the chat. Hi, Janice. Yeah, I just was going to come on until Jen got ready for about 30 minutes. Like I said, I'm just going to do these cards. I was pulling stuff while. Yeah, they're some of the jelly printed cards that from the other day when I was jelly printing. So I thought I'd just make some kind of blank cards to use with just some little ephemera I had laying around or from Swap, Happy Mail, that kind of stuff. And then this is a sticker. It almost looks like vellum. It talks about friendship. Just give it a little text. Set that aside to dry. I usually coat the whole card when I do these. This one wants to bubble here. If I can't push that air out or create a wrinkle, one or the other. Like I said, I usually keep them pretty simple so that they can just be on any occasion. Card. I think on this one I want to put a piece of washi tape if I can. There it is. Find the beginning. to give it a little more finished edge on that card. I'll trim that. Be cute with like a little birthday sentiment or something in it. I think on this one first, I want to that newsprint again. It didn't jelly print all the way to the edge, so I think I'm gonna and that's just a piece I had with some Lindy's spray and just dictionary paper. I'm gonna let it keep on folding to the back, I think, on that one. Yeah, yeah, because it was I had the white down first that dried on this print, and I let it dry, and then I put the turquoise, so it's a crusty bit technique with just, or a ghost print with just the one layer, and then the pickup layer. Right, and then I think I like this one that's got the cream more than the turquoise. I think I'll put that on there. And then the quote I had left over from the postcard swap with Jen says, sometimes she wished nothing more than to turn back time, which I thought was cute with the clock. And I think this is graphic 45 paper. Somebody sent it to me in a swap. quote's kind of a little warped from being bent. I'd made it and it was laying around. So I think that's still pretty. You can still see the pattern a little bit. Not totally, but then this one's got a blue to it. So it's the only one I was indecisive about. The turquoise doesn't really go with it. I think I'm going to use this girl here in the corner. She's real faint, real soft. I'm just going to trim some of that excess out. Not all of it necessarily. I have this quote about coffee I think I want to use. Or I could use some of this. I think I'll save that. Use it on another card at some point. And I think I'll edge this with a blue. I have a blue. I want the red. What else? I think I'll use that blue there. Just to get the edges of that cardstock. I'll save that for later. And I think, like I said, I'll keep that one really simple. Just trying to get where that paint didn't come off the gel plate. I was just trying to use up stuff that I had left over. Sometimes I find them make cute, quirky little cards. So it says, sure, I could go without coffee, but it wouldn't be pretty. So I think that, and you can see the jelly print. So I think that's enough, you know. Like I said, it's just I just sell them as little, with no sentiment inside. You just empty and you can write your own sentiment. When I do art shows, all right. So now it's a matter of what this one needs. Oh, that's what I need to do, but that puts it upside down, so. Maybe it just needs to be right there. I don't know. This one, I wish maybe I hadn't put this other piece over here. I feel like I've boxed myself in. I'm not sure I like the. Not sure on this one. I think it's really just going to sit right here in the middle and just going to be what it is. And I'm overthinking it. Oh, that's an idea. Let me see if I can lift. That's a really good idea. I'm going to try to round the corners. I don't have any fancy corner rounders, but I do have one. Now the question is where in my organization did I put it? I have one more place I'll look and I'll see. I hate when I can't find things that I'm looking for. And I want to say I just had that not too long ago. look over here on the shelf real quick. Found it. I found something else that might be pretty. Maybe hit that with foil. Of course, it doesn't help that the paper has a little bit of glue on it still. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit. I think that's the wrong color. Let's see if I had anything in this little tray of embellishments. All right. Trying not to spill everything, and I spilled it. So I found some butterflies that are glittered, that are turquoise, that I think will be cute. So we'll put that back on there. Jen, let me know when you're ready. This is the last card, actually. So I just got on to, for if anybody wanted to hang out before you started. I did order, I ordered several black canvases, and so I pulled a bunch of papers to do about 3 or 4 sets of black canvases. So I'm really excited about that. And I'll stream it next week. Okay, there's a little dragonfly and butterflies. Do we like it with the dragonfly or just the butterflies? I'm definitely going to use the butterflies. I really don't have anything else ready. I'll show you, I can show you what I think, I can show you what I'm going to do with the black canvases. And what I'm prepping them for. I don't think I like the dragonfly. I think I'm just going to use the little butterflies. And that'll just give it something in that little corner of interest. Alright, so let me show you, for those of you who just came in, these were the cards that we jelly printed the other day. So I'll show you what I got done. So there's this one with a quote about friendship. And this was like a jelly print that didn't show up, that was like numbers or letters. And then I did a cleanup print when my plate was really dirty with that had some old turquoise stuff on it and some Titan Buff and put it on this card. And it is really grungy. And that's an old vintage Paris postcard. And then this one here, which is talking about like a 1920s housewife on top of a jelly print. And then this little one has a little roaring 20s type girl. These are all jelly printed backgrounds that I had done the other day. And then I just used a little circle that someone had sent me of cardstock and a quote that I had that said, sure, I could go out without coffee, but it wouldn't be pretty. And I thought that would just be, just by itself is cute. And then this one, again, somebody sent me this. And it's, I think it's graphic 45 paper that they cut up, but I'm not sure. And then it says, sometimes she wished nothing more than to turn back time. And she's reading to her kids. So I thought that was cute. I thought that would be like a cute Mother's Day card or a birthday card for your mom. I sell them usually, Carol. I'll sell them anywhere from $2.50 to $5, depending how much time I feel like these I won't really sell. I'll sell for usually $3, depending what fair I'm at. And then this one says spread your wings. All right, let me go get real quick the black canvas and I'll show you what I did for myself and what I'm going to do. Give me just a minute. All right, and there. The artist that inspired these is Annika Gray. I found her on Pinterest, and I made these for my own house, for my dining room. But she does black canvases, and she just does different stencils of white and like cream. So everything's kind of tone on tone. And on these, it's going to be really hard to see on the camera, but they have iridescent in the background that you can only see when you're close up. So that was the first one. Well, actually, this is the first one. Here's the other one. And so it's got this vintage instructions on the rumba. And so it's over here and then down here. And then it carries on over here. And then I wanted little pops of teal, so I used some teal. And like I said, there's some iridescent paint that's fleur-de-lis in the background that you can see if you look real close. And then it was just like some of the sewing paper. So what I ordered from Michael's was 2 9x12s, 2 8x10s, 2 5x7s, and I think I got like a 12x24 or 6x18, but they were like sets of 2 black canvas for like $2.99, $3.99. They were half off, and there's 2 canvases in each set. So when they come in, what I did was tonight I pulled a few color ones that I know that I'll pop. So I'll show you what I'm going to do, and then I'll stream them when I do them next week or the next couple weeks. So the first thing I did was pull all kinds of neutral ephemera. that's all just like different shades of cream, music paper, books, book text, some maps, just different things that I've collected. And this was a jelly print from a jelly print, and I thought I might use it on one of them, but I wasn't sure. Right now, it doesn't really go with anything. So the first one that I know I'll put on one of the bigger ones is like a Paris theme. And I'll use some of the pink, and I've got Moulin Rouge, and then there's this Blue Moon perfume, and this is just a tone on tone. And then there's this poster for the Paris exhibit. And then this is just a little piece of map of Paris. It's got pink and green. So I thought that like this and this would go on one, and then this would go in the background with some of this. Some of this is bound to have in French, and that this would make like the 9x12, since this is so big, that this would make the 9x12. And you just I wanted a little pop of color. And I think what I'll do is I'll either tint some texture paste with paint to give it that pop of color, or I'll put down the stencil in white, and then after it dries, come back and hit it with some pops of bright. I think I want to hit it with a few pops of bright paint just to give it something to stand out. And then on one of the smaller ones, I thought I'd use these two images for my focal point. The French one are the ones that I did for my house. I can show you the ones I did for my house again first. Her name is, I want to say it's Annika Gray. And so these are the two that I did for my house. And so what I did first was I did the iridescent paint, let that dry. Then I laid down some of the white stencil, let that dry. And then I added my pieces of ephemera, and then I came back in on some of that and laid down some black stencil. And then I worked with the sewing paper. And then the last thing I did was get this is a texture. It's just in white still, but this is risen. And some of the text stencil here in French is with texture paste in the white. And then I gave them a high gloss with the triple thick spray from Deco Arts. So that's kind of the goal, is to get them in that vein and just be pretty much white and cream stencils with like a little pop of color. So the first one that I planned is for the bigger ones will be for Paris. And then, yeah, you could use, recipe cards would be really cute with this, because this is almost kind of a food or wine theme. I think when I do this one, I'll put some pops of red, and I just pulled some little pieces that I can use on it here and there, but predominantly it will be like cream paper. So I'll just have to get the canvases to kind of play with them to see which of this to use and how to use it. And then the last one that I pulled is an old ad for a Mercedes, and it had kind of a rose color, and I had a piece of some scrapbook paper that was vintage, and a ticket to a game. These are some tickets, a little Paris perfume. So I thought another one and the smaller ones with the pink might work. But like I said, this ledger paper has pink in it, so it could be some pieces of this will end up in the Paris one and in this little one with the pink. The other thing that I thought might be kind of cool on one of them is I found somebody had sent me some Texas map. And there's also some information from a book showing like keys to maps and history. And like here's San Antonio, like a street map of San Antonio. I thought that pop of green, that might be a good one that's more masculine. And then I had this girl that I might use part of. It's like a paper doll from a bike rider, and that a bike thing, which is real big in some of the places where I do art shows, is there's a bike club. And somewhere in here, I actually have an ad. So I thought I'd do the Texas map with the green, the pops of green, and the bike stuff. Might, so, I've got 2 pieces of this, so there could be one on each canvas. Somewhere in here, there's a girl riding a bike in an ad. But I've got, lists like library cards, just stuff that gives you a little interest. I even thought about maybe doing some blackout poetry, where you just take a random piece of a book, not this because it's a poem, and you just choose some words, or take one of my big music books and pull out and do some poetry like I did. That's what I did on these, is I just take a piece of song lyrics and just put a part of it. Like, she ain't ashamed to be a woman, knowing is loving you, knowing you is loving you. Just little things that could be a poetry. Yeah, these are just things that have been sent to me and various that I've been hoarding. I thought this one was kind of funny, and I might use it like I did the rumba. I only have the 1 page of it. I thought there were 2, but it's like exercising. But if I cut this in half, one could go on one panel and one could go on the other panel, because I have this with like wives and tape measuring and housery, like with the sewing stuff, a corset ad or a hat ad, depending which way you turn it. So that's kind of what I did while Jean was on. And then I have lots of patterned sewing paper. And I pulled that for this week. And then, but I have to wait for those canvases to come in. They're on their way. And then I pick them up at my Michael's. And the other thing is I had seen, and I thought this was maybe good for the transfer method. I had seen where they'd taken a really pretty picture of a girl and then put like tons of flowers, and then they'd overlapped some stamping of text. And so I found this girl that I want to use, and I think I'm going to put her, and this is for like clipboards that I brought home to do, and I'm going to put her on here somehow. And then like the floral stuff, build up some of that on there. The other possibility is, and then I have her, which I really like, but I don't know about the background. It may just be a scrapbook paper, and do something with her. And it's just, and then this girl already had like water waves as her hair. I don't think I want to transfer them, because I don't want to risk losing them. But I might get some elements to transfer and do the transfer where you put the gel medium on and then you get rid of it and you just have that almost translucent transfer that you don't actually transfer it on the paper. So I just pulled this. I thought this was really pretty. This one's going to end up somehow. It says you really can have it all, every wish, every whim, every want. And I thought that would be good on a, I like the pattern on this one. So I was starting to pull some magazine images to do some clipboards. And I thought that's where I'd use some of the photo transfer. But I was looking at this. It's a photo transfer medium from Decopop page by Americana, but it's 8 hours. So I thought if I was going to do demo this, I would need to like do a piece, set it to the side, but have some that I'd already let dry for 8 hours the day before and soak them and then demonstrate how to use them. But you can't go through the whole process. I think that was the problem that with what Jean was trying to do a little bit today is it's hard to rush the drying time on some of that. But I got this, but I haven't tried it yet. So we can try this next week too. That would be fun. But with magazine. And then the other project that I haven't pulled yet is I want to do some collage with text. And you get the text going different ways. And then, yeah, 8 hours before you rub it off. It says to let it dry for 8 hours. So I figured just let it dry overnight. It says to put this on the object and on the picture image and then put them together and smooth it down onto the surface and remove any excessive medium with a damp cloth and let it dry 8 hours. And then you get it wet and gently rub off the paper. So we'll see. It says it'll even go on fabric. I kind of have my doubts about that. That seems, yeah, but it has to set for 8 hours. But the one that I did on the canvas, it had to set it and dry. You put the gel medium on the canvas and on the front of the picture, and then you put them together wet, and you smoothed it down and got it and rubbed it off with a damp cloth. It was a similar technique. You got both sides covered. Also wonder if using the brush doesn't leave little grooves that don't have the gel medium. If it wouldn't be better to put it on with a gift card, which I know Jean did do for the transparency, but I can't remember if she did that for the other ones. I kind of wonder if that's why sometimes you get the little skips or the places that don't make contact. So I thought if I put it on and then it was real wet and then I burnished it and cleaned off the excess with a damp rag and then let it dry. I'll show you the one I did on the canvas. Give me just a minute and I'll show you the one I did on the canvas. This is the one I did on the canvas. And this was scrapbook paper that I did the transfer method. And then this was an image that I had printed from my printer. But I will say that I was in danger of damaging, and I had to come back in after I had coated it with Mod Podge. I came back in with my Pip pens and darkened some of the places where the white was. Yeah, that's what I think. If you burnish it, if it's real wet and you burnish it and you get a good contact on a good surface. Um, but I thought this one actually came out pretty well considering like the feathers and the delicate, but I did have to come back in and like her face wasn't damaged, but it almost feels like napkin on this one. It, there's still, in my opinion, probably was too much paper pulp. And it could have been the kind of paper that I printed on too. But then afterwards, like I said, I came back in with some Lindy sprays up here. And I came back in with the pit pins, mainly where the turquoise was and where some of the black on her hat was. Like, I want to say I had like a damaged area up here in her hat that I touched up. But that's the only one that I've ever really done. Hi, Iffy. So, I don't know. Like I said, I figured I'd do some of the transfer stuff on some of the clipboards that I'm getting ready to. I brought a whole bunch of clipboards home from school because I thought I'd just like paint them white and then do magazine collage on them, and then I can sell them relatively inexpensive if I don't, you know, spend that much time on it. Then I can sell them for like $5, $8, under $10. Because I've just found that at the art shows that they're not going to spend that much money on the more expensive. They want to go. I know they want to do what I do. I go and I spend $5, $10, $20 with this artist, and then I go and I get something from another artist. So I'll show you the jelly prints that we did the other day for those of you who weren't here. And some of them were oops papers. This was like a black oops on gray, like, I don't know, I spilled paint and I mopped it up with the paper. So it was like a Rorschach. So I put a little bit of peach, and I think I want to add a little bit of metallic teal maybe to that one. I'm not sure. So that'll probably get some more, and maybe direct stenciling, not jelly printing, or using the little jelly plates. This one came out real pretty. It's, you probably can see some of the shimmer. It's all like metallic and PBO paints. So it was a layer of the purple metallics, and then the pickup layer was the blue-green PBO, and it has a sheen, and it's all circles. So I think on this one I'm probably going to do like a little beach houses scene. And this one was several layers using a tree stencil from Crafter's Workshop. And again, it's got metallic because it's got the pinks and the reds. To me, it looks like coral. So I'll probably just put a seahorse on it and mat it so it's ready to like sell. This one was fleur-de-lis, and it's got PBO in it. So it's got a shimmer, and it's got kind of a pink and a green. I don't know what I'll do with that one. This was my brayer paper, which I'm not really. I like some of the colors on this side, so it might be used in collage. This was just a piece that we cleaned up on some scrapbook paper, and I have it cut to be a house. This was the tree stencil I had done, and I didn't like it, so I went over with some blue. Now I really like it, so I'm thinking that this is somehow going to be like a house scene or a city scene or a birdhouse with this on it, because it's hard to find something that will work on this background. This is brayer paper that we added some jelly print to. Let me turn a couple more lights on. It's a little shadowed. That's probably better. Yeah, I think a birdhouse would be cute. And then put like a little bird or something or a quote on it. And this is another piece of the brayer paper that I cut. I thought it might be a cute building, like a high rise. And this was just kind of a gold with some letters in the PBO, in the blue black. And I think it'll make a good building. And you can still see it was mapped. You can still see the map faintly behind it. A lot of these are on map. And a lot of them are grungy on purpose because I'm trying to do like, I'm trying to do some of my city prints in this size so that I can sell them more affordable. And this one was a blue with a copper and a little bit of a cream and a Titan buff. This was just a PBO green on the map. Blue and copper. Not sure I like this one. It may need, but in pieces it might be fine. Or as a building, because by the time you put windows on it and railings, like it might make a really good beach house on the beach for a Galveston one. This one I really like how it came out. It was just an ugly piece of scrapbook paper. And it's like a snakeskin stencil from Andy Skinner. And it's a Titan buff in the background with some pinks and blues. I think that would be a good beach house too. This one's an orange with a teal on a map. Ugly scrapbook paper with a green. Ugly scrapbook paper with several layers. And again, I think it would be a good high rise. This is a green quadrifoil. You can barely see it on the map, but you can still see the map. A pink with a quadrifoil. I thought that was cute. I almost wished I hadn't cut this one. I cut it, but the proportion was off for the city and the skyline. But it might be able to become like, that's the skyline, and then cut a piece of this and make that the bottom and do like a high rise or something. That's just a piece of clean up extra on ugly scrapbook paper. A background on music paper, which is one of my favorite things to use and then do a piece. Like, since it says I'm Henry VIII, I am, like to do Anne Boleyn or something like that, Victorian or French. Napoleonic, I guess, would be. This is more of the coral just on a background of music paper. Might be cute with beach houses on it. With that, like a beachy background. Or just to put a seahorse. A lot of times, usually what I do is just put a black seahorse on these. This one is real pretty in person. It's I don't know. It's real faint. It's just like rings of teal on a silvery blue. And like a green, like a teal. So I think that'll be a pretty one for a background. This is just about the same thing as the last one, except for it's pink with the gold in the background because it's on ugly scrapbook paper with a little bit of gold paint thrown in there. So it shimmers real pretty. I like this end of this one. Not so crazy about this end. Get muddied, and I don't like it. But by the time you put the houses on and the road, like if you put a piece of washi tape and the houses, that would block a lot of it, and there wouldn't be that much. Also, could go over and stencil something on the road, like back with that bubble, with the circle stencil, and kind of change it, like with a metallic. This was just a light green on a green, which and it has part of Paula's stacked books, so I think it could make a neat building. Like, it's kind of a turquoise on red. It's not a shimmer. It's real grungy, but it'll make a good background. This is stacked books, the same greenish color with a yellow background, but it's real muted with that pastel. But for a background, yeah, it's real subtle. You have to look at it up close on the camera. This was matte paper with circles in gold and red. This might look cool as a background now that I'm thinking about it. That might be really cool, like as part of the clipboard for her. Or as part of the clipboard for her. You know, because usually I cover the front and the back. So like I'll probably use that background maybe behind her or on the back. But that's the other thing that I might use this on the back of a clipboard. And then this was cream colored cardstock, like a tan, with a blue and the hot pink and a fleur-de-lis. And I think it's a good background for the start of a page. Yes, I'm going to sell the clipboards. I'm getting ready for an art show that's June 18th here in Fort Worth. But then I'll probably put them online, like in my Etsy store eventually too. I have a couple on there now. One's at TCU. One's kind of a strange girl with butterfly wings, and one's an Asian. This one turned out, it's muddy, but I actually think it's pretty. It may get cut up and used as windows. It's under Debbie Epps. Jennifer, everything's under. I just keep I got to a point where I put everything under Debbie Epps. And this one's just like a cleanup of the red on the map. And right now it reminds me of blood, but in a piece of it, a pop of it, in like on a clipboard, it might not be so bad because you wouldn't have very much of it showing. You know. Oh, Grand Prairie. This blue one, CB. Yeah, it's got some shimmer to it, and it's really grungy. And then I'm getting ready to do a big collage of a Cocker Spaniel. So I had done some like tone on tone stuff. And it was really more just for texture. Just to add to some of the printed papers and some of the, I think I'm going to use some of the old book text. And what I'm going to do is get it all glued in there in little pieces of his hair, and then come back with either like the Neo 2s or the Pit pens and add the details. Probably a combination because I only have, sadly, 15 Neo 2s. I covet the big set, but I want the really big set, like the 275 colors, because I really like the Neo 2s. And I do the same as Jean. I water down matte gel medium and set it with the matte gel medium so that it's permanent. So I work in layers. Like I'll do my shadows and put that in and let it dry and then come back. Well, I'm not originally, my husband's originally from Fort Worth. I'm from Nebraska, from Omaha, and ended up in Corpus Christi, which is where I met. Yeah, I thought about doing the single colors too, um, and building the sets that way. I wish they would do like the Pitt pins. I wish they would sell like color waves in a set. Like, here's the pastels in a set of 10 or 15, or here's landscape colors. And you might have a little bit of overlap, but that's what I did with all my Pitt pins is I bought sets of 6 until I pretty much had everything I needed. And then I went in and filled in with some singles from Dick Blick's. Yeah, and I don't usually like the duplicates I have are some of the ones I actually use a lot. So I just figured that I'll have them. It won't, I won't have to replace it. It's like this May blue, and there was a couple greens that I got, and one of them was like I got it in a script and I got it in a bold. Well, I have not. I've only had one of the pins go bad and that was probably my fault. It was one of the big brush markers in the red, and I rushed it, and I probably clogged the tip when I was rushing it by painting. I paint with them over the gel medium, and then I add layers of gel medium on top of it, and I was probably rushing it. So I need to get another one of the reds. And then I had one gray one dry out on me. Oh, yeah. I married a Texan. I was in Texas when he came to Corpus. But I've had the problems with a couple of the big pit pins breaking. Like this is the red, but it's got the green lid because this is the one that's not good because the one on the green one broke. So I put the red lid on the green so that it wouldn't dry out. I don't know where it's at now. I have a feeling my husband borrowed it and didn't return it. So, but I like them because they're India ink. Hi, Terry. So we were just talking like we were waiting on Jen. I made some cards, but I don't really have anything else set, ready to do. So, but that's kind of what I've been. School's out, so now I can get ready. That show is on June the 18th, if I get in. I'm not sure. The one I had on June 10th, I'm on standby. For some reason, they're like thinking I'm a jewelry. So I don't think they went and looked at my website. Um, but hopefully I'll get into that one on the 10th. And then the other one is on the 18th. And then the other thing I want to work on this summer is getting my photographs uploaded to Society 6 and joining Fine Art America for the year. It's like $30 for the year, where people can order your stuff, but you don't have to upload like description. You don't have to keep uploading. They can just have the photo. They can get a cell phone case. They can get a coffee cup. They can get a pillow. But the first ones I uploaded, the first pictures, the file sizes weren't big enough to do very much. Thank you, Terry. So it was just something that I did with the ones that I jelly printed the other day. And like I said, then I'll sell them in art shows when I go. And I have a big one that I do every year in October, and I only do the ones that don't cost very much, because if you have to pay a lot, then I'm afraid I'm not going to cover my costs. But the one that I'm going to is like $25. Bye, Carol. So then I can keep the cost low and have enough sales to cover my cost. But I found that most people that are going to the shows don't really want to spend more than $20 in each booth. Every once in a while, you'll get somebody that will buy one of the bigger canvases. But for the most part, I've sold little cards like this, 6x6 and 8x8 and 8x10 pieces. And when, like, if I turn this into a piece and then I put it in just like a little plastic baggie, they can mat it and in an 11x14 mat and frame it. And they have a piece of original art, but they didn't spend an arm and a leg. And that's usually what does better for me at the art shows. Probably even on Etsy, I've sold more of the smaller pieces than I have the bigger canvases. But it's harder to ship the bigger canvas, and the shipping costs more. So I always get a good response about my canvases, but unless I have them on sale, half price, they don't really move. They don't really sell. So I'm guessing that Jen is probably close to ready. I am going to go get dinner. It's about 8 here. I'm going to go get dinner and change so that I can catch Jen's show. So thanks for dropping in, and I will definitely be streaming off and on. I'm not going to say a set day or time because there's so many people streaming. I'll just pop in and out in the afternoons and evenings sometimes during the summer. So I'm just happy to be able to visit with everybody and hang out again and not be so stressed because of school. So I'm going to go get dinner, and I will see most of you probably at Jen's. Thanks for watching.